What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and this is the greatest time of the year for strength sports, World's Strongest Man 2021.
Ciao, homie.
So today we're going to be talking about the 2021 World's Strongest Man predictions, specifically the World's Strongest Man 2021 qualifiers predictions and what the World's Strongest Man 2021 groups are. We'll also talk about the World's Strongest Man 2021 events and how they play out for each of the groups. So tonight we're going to check out my World's Strongest Man Group 3 qualifier predictions. So let's have a look at who we think from World's Strongest Man Group 3 will advance to the World's Strongest Man Finals this year. Let's start off with how each competitor from World's Strongest Man Group 3 has been prepping or has been showing their prep, or in JF Caron's place, lack thereof. He kind of hides everything and keeps it close to the vest. But let's take a look at everybody else. So taking a look at the events, we have the frame loading medley. Athor Melstead has done 100 kilogram farmers, so 100 kilogram plus whatever the farmer's handles weighed. He didn't say what the total weights were. That was per hand. And Luke Richardson was doing 300 kilos for 40 meters in farmers. So not everybody trained with actual frames or showed frames, but a lot of them trained with farmers, which you can make the argument are more difficult than frames. The grip is the same, but the farmers could move around a bit where the frame is kind of more solid. As for the loading portion, JF Caron was more or less middle of the pack, 7 out of 15, recently at WUS Bahrain. So Athor Melstead was doing sandbags for 4 separate runs, so kind of really trying to get that endurance in on the loading portion here. And then Luke Richardson was doing increasing weighted sandbags, so 100 kilo followed by a 125 kilo followed by a 150 kilo, and he was very, very fast here. So extremely impressive speed from Luke Richardson. Moving on to the deadlift, we had, again, JF, I won't repeat it over and over, doesn't show anything for these events or otherwise. So we'll have to go by his previous performances and our kind of knowledge of his prowess in different areas. Athor Melstead did 370 kilos for 1, which would be, if we stay around the 340 kilo mark, which is what we're expecting at World's Strongest Man, more or less, he would do probably 3 reps there. Again, if this 370 is his peak, he was also peaking for Strongest Man in Iceland, so it's difficult to tell. And of course, prep isn't everything. And when we get to the predictions, we'll take that into consideration, as well as some guidance recently gathered from Big Loz when he joined me for doing predictions together. Robert Oberst was doing, I don't know what the weight was, unknown weight for 2 reps, not notorious for being a great deadlifter, so probably won't be a difficult decision to make there. Luke Richardson did 350 kilos for 5, which would be 340 for 5 or 6 around there. Again, if he was at his peak, which he may not have been during prep. And Mikhail Shivlikov did 380 kilo, it looked like, I wasn't sure, for 1, and it was an 18-inch. So that would be probably 340 for about 4. He's a great deadlifter. Mikhail is also up and down a little bit and doesn't typically, unfortunately, bring his best to World's Strongest Man. Again, I was talking to Big Loz about this, and he and I agree. Mikhail is better on one-day events usually. The World's Strongest Man isn't the best showcase of his talent. Moving on to squat, and again, these groups get either or, but I'll give you the evidence on both, so it's either deadlift or squat. But moving on to the squat, we saw Athor Melstead doing an unknown weight for 5 reps. Luke Richardson doing 235 kilos for 10, which would be, if we're doing a 318 kilo squat, it would be for 1. But again, Luke is known for being a very good squatter, which Big Loz reminded me of when we talked about together. So this likely not indicative of what he will do at World's Strongest Man. He will likely be far better than this. And Shivlikov did 257 kilos, it looked like, for about 3, which would be a 0 on this event. So we'll see how that goes. Fingers, we saw Robert Oberst doing an unknown weight finger for 7. He's a big, tall guy, could do well in something like that. And then moving on to train pull, Athor Melstead pulls trucks quite a bit from what I can tell on Instagram. So it looked like a pretty big truck. I don't know what the weight was. He was fast with it and trains it fairly regularly again. Mikhail Shivlikov won a truck pull at Forza Bruta 2021, but among only 4 competitors. So, that only carries so much weight. Going into the overhead medley, JF Caron was very good with dumbbells at WUS Bahrain, coming in third out of 15. So taking that into consideration of recent performance, he's very good with dumbbells. I don't have any recent evidence of the circus barbell or axle. And then Athor Melstead did 107 kilo for one. Robert Oberst did a 114 kilo for one circus dumbbell. And Luke Richardson did 100 kilo for three, which would be probably 106, 107 for one, again, if you were peaking. And Luke was really the only one of these guys that seemed to be training all three disciplines. So we probably should give him some very good credit there. He looked to be doing a 135 kilo circus barbell for five, which puts him at about 152, close to the range of what the required weight at World's Strongest Man will be. And then the axle, he did 150 for three out of the rack, which would be 160, let's say, for maximum, which is very close to what the axle at World's Strongest Man will weigh. So no issues there. Didn't see any of them training front hold. Maybe they added them in after I did my research, but I didn't see any. And then again, going to stone off over bar, JF Caron was third out of 15 at WUS Bahrain with stones, again placing very high there. JF's a good stone lifter, not Tom Stoltman caliber, but a good stone lifter. And Luke Richardson, 210 kilos for two. So 210 is supposed to be the heaviest weight in this run. So it seems like he's going to have no issues handling that weight. So all that being said, if we move on to our predictions, what do all those pieces of information have to say about our predictions? Well, they say that JF Caron and Luke Richardson are going through to the finals. And how does that all break down? And by the way, JF goes through by only a point, it looks like. So Luke Richardson hot on his tail there. And the way that I've broken that down is we first start off with the frame loading medley. So I think JF Caron is going to win the frame loading medley with Luke Richardson second. And Luke was very fast in his prep. Luke might even win this, putting them in a tie and going on count back to the pickaxe, which I have JF doing better in. So this is very, very close with 1 and 2, but I think those are the two guys that go through without question. In terms of after that, I have Shivlikov coming in with 3 points, 2 to Melstead, and 1 for Robert Oberst. Then when we go to the deadlift or squat, this group gets squat, and that sounds like this group gets nothing in American colloquialism. Sorry about that. This group will perform the squat, and so Luke Richardson wins the squat. And I actually had this one very wrong in my preliminary predictions, and Big Loz corrected me that Luke Richardson is an incredible squatter despite what you're seeing in prep. He's probably just not peaking yet or not showing his best lifts. So we're going to give Luke Richardson the full 5 points for winning the squat. I have JF second in the squat. He's also shown to be a very good squatter. And then I have Athor Melstead and Shivlikov tying for third at 2.5 points each. Robert Oberst coming in last in the squat. And that was another correction that Big Loz made. He actually wanted to bet me. And I'm like, no, man, you know more than I do about this thing. So I'll take your word for it. No need for a bet. No need for a bet, my friend. So going into the train poll, I have JF winning this one, but I have, I don't know, I'm a little conflicted. I have Luke Richardson coming in second with 4 points, 3 for Melstead, 2 for Shivlikov, and 1 for Oberst. But this one can go a variety of ways. I don't know. See, I was thinking like a big focused Oberst could do well at this, but if his squat isn't great, isn't a train pull partially a squat? It has a lot more kind of parameters than that, but so that's why I couldn't really give him a lot of points there. And then Athor has shown himself to be very good at truck pulls, but he's not the biggest guy in the world either. So I think JF in terms of technique and just power and size has him edged there. And Luke Richardson, I think, will do very well there as well. So 4 points for Luke. Going to the overhead medley, I have Luke winning that one. So Luke's going to get 5 points in the overhead medley, 4 for JF, 3 for Melstead there, 2 for Robert Oberst, and 1 for Shivlikov. Again, just because Shivlikov doesn't seem to come to World's Strongest Man always with his best stuff. And then going to the pickaxe hold, I have Athor Melstead winning that one with 5 points, 4 for JF Caron, 3 for Luke Richardson. Then I have 2 for Shivlikov and 1 for Robert Oberst. So that's your total points: 22 JF Caron, 21 Luke Richardson, 15.5 points for Melstead, 10.5 for Shivlikov, and 6 for Oberst. So your two qualifiers that go through From Group 3 into the World's Strongest Man Finals will be JF Caron and Luke Richardson. Luke, in second place, will win a stone off against Athor Melsted, and that's how he gets in. Those are my predictions for Group 3. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm crazy or if you think I'm pretty close to being on target and what your picks are. And of course, until next time, as always, ciao, homie. And now a word about Go Hard Labs. Are you looking for a pre-workout that doesn't make your skin crawl but still gives you some solid energy for your workouts, or even just to get through your day when you're exhausted like I am from making all my YouTube content? You should check out Go Hard Labs and use my code MBSM10 to get 10% off of your purchase.